following is a rebroadcast of tonight's 10 p.m. Eyewitness News.
13 Eyewitness News is closed caption for the hearing impaired. Channel 13, KTRK-TV Houston. We care about Texas. Now, Eyewitness News with Dave Ward and Sheriff Fryer. Marvin Zimler's Action 13. Bob Allen has sports and the weather with Ed Brandon. Now, Channel 13, Eyewitness News. Tonight.
Health officials worried about our safety tonight call for an oyster ban.
Floodwaters head south, forcing more people from their homes.
And crews work round the clock to clean up fuel that's polluting the San Jacinto River. Good evening, everyone. Dave Ward is off tonight. We have a breaking story at this hour. A barge has crashed into the causeway leading to Galveston Island.
Now, just to give you some perspective, here is a map of the area where it happened, I-45 at Galveston Bay.
It's a story that's developing by the minute. Our reporter Chris Adams is on the scene now with more. Chris?
Alan and Shara, indeed, this situation is developing. We know very little at this point. Apparently, the barge did crash into the causeway about 8:15. All traffic on the causeway has been halted, and we do have some pictures to show you of what the incident looks like if we can go to those now. There you see the causeway. The incident happened right about the center span. Traffic, as I mentioned, on both sides has been halted. Texas Department of Transportation engineers have been called in. They are examining the structure right now. In the darkness, the causeway is barely visible. It's impossible for us to tell exactly how badly it has been damaged. We're told the barge was carrying offshore platform equipment. It has become entangled in the causeway. Engineers are trying to free it now. They may have to sink that barge, in order to free it from the causeway structure. Now, my fellow reporter, Christy Myers, is up in Sky Eye. She perhaps has a better vantage point. Christy, what is your situation like there?
Chris, it's a fascinating picture. The barge is truly actually jammed up under the structure. Let's take a look now. You can see it from the air here. The barge is stuck under the southbound side. You see the light as we come up on it. Now, as we get closer, you can tell that it's actually wedged there, and part of the platform appears to be lifted up as the structure is beneath it. There are scrapes, we are told, under the bridge, and that's why this area is closed now. They simply don't know how strong it is. Now, there are some hurricane evacuation gates on the north end of the bridge that usually are open to allow lanes to become northbound. They will be able to open those gates to take some traffic southbound, but it will take a while to set it up, and they have to have the engineers to come in and check and see the safety of the situation first. But as you get a closer look at that barge and the lights on it. It's absolutely stuck under a bridge. We haven't seen anything quite like this in a long time. They'll probably be working here all night, and in the morning on our Eyewitness News at 6 a.m. we'll let you know what the situation is as far as southbound traffic into Galveston Island. Reporting live from Sky Eye, this is Christy Myers, 13 Eyewitness News.
All right, meantime, we're being told that traffic is backed up from the Causeway Bridge all the way to Texas City. That's some 14 miles headed southbound into Galveston Island. So if you have folks who are headed home, they're going to be a tad late tonight if they open the bridge and get it going at all. Meantime, elsewhere in our viewing area, the fire is still burning in the San Jacinto River, now fueled by only one of those 4 pipelines that broke on Thursday. Work crews are using vacuum trucks to remove oil from the water.
And while scores of residents along the river were treated for smoke inhalation after those explosions last week, tonight, the story of a miraculous survival of 2 people who were surrounded by flames but lived. Christy Myers has that story.
It's like a bomb. I was in service, and, you know, I'm very familiar with bombs, and that was what it was like. Wham!
Larry Nixon and his girlfriend raced the fingers of blue flames that came from the San Jacinto River.
All it was, we had this terrible explosion, which engulfed us in the flame. Maury's got burnt real bad. I got burnt on the arm and on the ear. Mine is 2nd degree, hers is 3rd.
Margie Morrell is in critical condition with 3rd-degree burns on her arms, legs, and face.
She's in a lot of pain. They're continually giving her medication for the pain because, and she keeps saying she's burning up inside. She can't get that feeling out of her body.
The San Jacinto had risen 12 feet when Larry and Margie came to take pictures of the property. They'd only been here 5 minutes when the explosions began. Had they been standing here instead of next door, they would have been dead.
It was like a flamethrower. One shot hit Larry's car, another hit his house, and what didn't burn was covered with oil.
The oil and the explosion has really done me in this time.
It's pretty bad.
Donnie Jeffcoat says his mother, who owns the burned-out property next to Larry, evacuated because of the flooding. That saved her life.
No, I'm glad she wasn't here.
Larry Nixon says the explosion was worse than Hurricane Alicia. Still, he plans to rebuild.
Why are you going to build back here after a flood and an explosion within a period of days?
It's your home.
Meantime, as Margie is undergoing skin grafts, her family is amazed that she and Larry even survived.
I was so surprised that they were alive, that they survived this, because there was so much devastation around where they were standing. It's like the Lord was looking out for us and our family.
Christy Myers, 13 Eyewitness News.
By midweek, officials estimate that work on the San Jacinto River should be 95% complete. Crews are working 24 hours a day to rid the river of fuel spilled from ruptured pipelines. Only one unsealed pipeline continues to burn tonight. The rest of the fires are controlled. Natural evaporation and machinery that skims off the oil are also part of the overall cleanup.
Meantime, in Brazoria County tonight, all eyes are on the Brazos River while residents wait for floodwaters to recede. A total of 600 residents have evacuated, 200 of them seeking shelter with the Red Cross. So far, the Brazos River has spread 9 miles from its banks.
We're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 homes that have had water in them. We've had substantial agricultural losses due to the loss of hay, and of course we've had some livestock losses as well.
Officials say this flood may be more costly than the devastating floods of '92, but the end may be near since the river has crested and folks are expected to return home in just a couple of more days. Another casualty of the Houston floods is the oyster industry. State health officials have banned the harvesting of all shellfish in Galveston Bay and connecting waters. They fear runoff from sewage plants and other pollution will contaminate the oysters. Reporter Chris Adams has that story.
Ivo Slavic tries to keep busy repairing his boat. An oysterman for 11 years, today the one thing Slavic cannot do is harvest oysters.
I'm out of income. So the only thing is to wait.
Because oysters are filter feeders, their bodies can suck up and hold pollution from the water. So state health inspectors use equipment like this to test Galveston's oyster beds. Since the floods, what they've found is too much contaminated fresh water.
Well, the fresh water, most of it is of course flowing from the rivers, and there's septic tanks and sewage treatment plants and farm runoff, cow runoff.
On October 20th, because of the floods, the state banned shellfish harvesting in Trinity Bay, Galveston Bay, the East Bay, and the West Bay.
The ban does not mean that your favorite Houston restaurant will no longer serve oysters. It just means that the oysters they do serve will come from farther away. These are from Louisiana. Also, you can expect prices to rise.
Dalton Parker is an oyster wholesaler.
We've had a 17% increase in our cost alone, not what it's going to be to the consumer, but just our cost alone has increased 17%.
The bottom line, your health is being protected, but if you're an oyster lover, you'll just have to shell out a lot more clams. Chris Adams, 13 Eyewitness News.
State health officials tonight are also warning consumers not to eat fish or shellfish taken from the San Jacinto River, either the Trinity or the upper portion of the Galveston Bay. They caution that those waters have been polluted by flooded wastewater treatment plants, industrial chemicals, and spilled petroleum products.
In New Caney, north of Houston, flood victims starting this work week by working on what's left of their homes. The Hendersons were visited by a FEMA inspector today who brought welcome news that federal help is on the way.
And this time it's a lot quicker. People are there sooner, people are helping. A lot of people come out and help.
However, FEMA warns folks to be patient if they've not yet been visited by an inspector. 200 inspectors are working off long lists. To cover the basics, the New Caney Volunteer Fire Department is providing drinking water until water wells can be tested. Many mechanics were also busy repairing waterlogged cars to get their customers back on the roads. The cost of Mother Nature's fury being tallied tonight. 35 counties have been declared federal disaster areas. Here in Harris County, road damage alone is estimated at nearly $3 million. In Montgomery County, loss of public property rings in between $2 and $5 million. And that does not include the 3,500 homes damaged in Montgomery County.
Other news besides the floods, the trial of a confessed cop killer has one of Houston's big legal guns involved. DA Johnny Holmes is prosecuting the case against Edgar Tamayo. Now, Tamayo confessed to fatally shooting HPD officer Guy Gaddis, who was transporting Tamayo and another man to jail. However, defense attorneys say Tamayo, who now says he's innocent, could not have committed the crime because of how he was handcuffed. And in Los Angeles today, both the defense and prosecution lose major battles in the O.J. Simpson case. Twice the prosecution tried to get 80 potential jurors dismissed. Both times, Judge Lance Ito denied the request. Ito also refused to sequester the other 220 jurors. The defense motion to delay the trial by a year and release O.J. on bail also denied.
The final curtain has fallen for one of the most versatile actors of our time. Raul Julia was equally talented on stage as Othello and as the lusty Gomez Addams in the recent Addams Family movies. The Puerto Rican-born actor died from complications of a stroke at a New York hospital today. He will be given a state funeral in Puerto Rico on Thursday. He was 54 years old.
When we come back here in a moment, if they say it, it must be true, right? Well, find out what a new poll says about those political ads.
And another tragedy on the water. A pleasure boat goes up in flames.
A thunderstorm watch for part of southeast Texas expired at 11 o'clock, but there's still lots of rain on radar. We'll have the weather in just a few minutes.
In political news tonight, as the race for Texas governor nears the finish line, the candidates continue to poke barbs at one another. Today, Governor Ann Richards took time out to talk with our Bob Boudreaux at a one-on-one interview. She says her opponent, George W. Bush, just doesn't have the experience necessary to be a good governor and is making costly promises he can't keep. Governor Richards also says just because she's the incumbent doesn't mean she doesn't have to work just as hard for the votes.
I have to prove that what I've done is good and what I'm going to do is better, and that the other guy is too inexperienced to do it.
Meantime, today up in Irving, Bush lumped the governor and President Clinton into one category.
Texas better have a governor who understands full well that Bill Clinton has been bad for Texas and bad for America. And make no mistake about it, I am that governor.
Election, by the way, just 2 weeks from tomorrow.
And speaking of the governor's race, a new poll out tonight shows that what Texas voters see and hear from candidates is apparently what they believe. The majority of voters surveyed for the Texas poll say they believe the gubernatorial political ads they see on TV. 54% say they trust what they've seen so far in the Richards-Bush commercials. That survey was conducted earlier this month by researchers at the University of Texas. Well, some surprise tonight in the New York governor's race. Today, Republican mayor of New York, Rudolph Giuliani, threw his support behind Democratic Governor Mario Cuomo. Giuliani says that he's aware of the risk that he's taken endorsing a Democratic governor, but he says Cuomo will be a better governor than his challenger, George Pataki.
Search for victims continues in a South Korean lake tonight after a pleasure boat fire. 20 people confirmed dead, another dozen or so remain missing and are feared dead. Television pictures show the boat completely consumed by the flames. Police said the fire started in the vessel's engines and that the craft designed to carry 127 people was carrying 131 passengers. Still ahead here tonight, Marvin has the dirts in a Monday edition of the Rat and Roach Report.
Also, the art world is rocked by another major theft. And here again are tonight's Pick 3 numbers, 0, 2, 9. Swiss police have an art hunt on their hands tonight. Thieves stole 7 Picasso paintings over the weekend from a private art gallery in Zurich. Experts say the estimated value about $44 million. 2 of the works were stolen once before, back in 1991. They were recovered then 8 months later.
Follow me now. This is Monday. It's almost over, and so we're going to offer a Friday night restaurant report.
Action 13's Marvin Zindler is not trying to confuse us. His special report on Russia all last week forced this change, and so here's the weekly list known as the Rat and Roach Report.
In one of the places, there were nibblers gnawing on food in the cooler. Little Caesars in the 1500 block of West 18th was charged in municipal court because health officers Williams said mice were feeding on food in the walk-in cooler. Food was not protected from potentially contamination, and pizza dough and utensils were contaminated with mouse droppings. Taco Cabana in the 5300 block of North Freeway was inspected October the 6th. Health Officer Surratt told the place to cover all the food in the storage, had the place throw out beef that was off color, and chicken that was the wrong temperature overnight. Zeros in the 100 block of Aldine Bender was inspected October the 4th. Health Officer Andoka said there were mouse droppings in the food preparation area and storeroom and told the place to clean up the filth, mouse droppings, and grease. McDonald's in the 9100 block of Cullen was inspected October the 12th. Health Officer Singale said potentially hazardous sausage and eggs were off temperature and reminded the folks that no eating is allowed in the kitchen. Fiesta Deli and Bakery in the 2300 block of North Shepherd was inspected October the 25th. Health Officer Williams says there was roach activity in the cabinet next to the oven and accumulation of filth and old food debris under the oven. And now for the big S. A&W Hot Dogs and more in the Greenpoint Mall. Stop and go in the 7400 block of Bissonnette. They all had it all together. Slime in the ice machine. Pardon me, Bubba. Is this the Galleria station? All aboard, track 13. That's right. Next week, you can take a train ride around Texas without even leaving Houston. The journey starts Tuesday, November the 1st at the Galleria 2. That's when the Galleria Lone Star Limited makes its debut. Enter a caboose, take a whistle-stop tour, and see 10 model trains traveling Texas. Part of the $2 fare per person goes to needy kids this Christmas. Marvin Zindler, Eyewitness News.
Sing it, Marvin. Coming up, the Rockets in Oklahoma City taking on the Cavs.
And the Oilers in action tonight, or were they? Right here on Channel 13. We'll have a live report coming up in sports.
I'm Alvin Van Black. The Robert A. Welsh Award for Chemistry was presented tonight. We'll take you to the ceremony.
Well, the game had its moments.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly when it had its moments, but Bob's going to tell it like it is.
Well, Oilers still struggling to find an offense, still struggling to find a quarterback. Tonight they lose to the Eagles 21-6. Defense played well enough, held them as long as they could. Cody got yanked in favor of Billy Joe Tolliver. He came in and did the best he could under the circumstances. Kimberly Harms is live in Philadelphia right now. We join her at Veterans Stadium. Kimberly?
Hi, Bob. A disheartening loss for the Oilers. The final score 21-6. Billy Joe Tolliver joins us now. Rough for you coming in the fourth quarter. You guys are already down. The bottom line is something has to get you going.
Well, we had our chance to punch it in down there on the 1-yard line, and it didn't happen. You know, if we get that in, we might, get the 2-point conversion, and we could still be playing in overtime right now.
A lot of people were pointing to the little pitch back to Gary Brown that was fumbled. Some said it was high, some said it was hard. He took responsibility, saying that it was his fault.
Well, I think it's a quarterback's position to any shortcomings that happen in the offense. I'll take the blame for that. You just got to make the plays when you're down there, and I could have gave him a softer toss, and you always like to have those back.
Bottom line is everybody wants to know how you're going to get out of this funk.
Well, we just got to keep working hard, and if we got the guys continue to work hard like we're doing right now, all these problems we're having, they're going to turn around, and all the bad bounces will come our way.
Thanks so much for joining us. As Billy Joe Tolliver coming out of the locker room, going back now for some treatment. Final score 21-6, Bob.
All right, Kimberly, thank you. Here is how it happened. Early on, Cody, we'll take the highlights right now. Cody will hit Haywood. Jeffries to the Philadelphia Ford, sets up a Del Greco 21-yard field goal, and the Oilers took a 3-0 lead. Then Cunningham sacked by Steve Jackson on the corner blitz. Then Cunningham to Fred Barnett. Watch the play by Chris Dishman. This is the defensive play of the game right here as far as the Oilers are concerned. Just takes it away from Barnett, but they couldn't convert again. Cunningham is gotten by Lathan. Then Bishop pressures Cunningham. The defense played well early on. The game was the Oilers to take, but then Cody with the interception to Eric Allen all the way down to the Houston 14. And Gardner is going to take it in to put the Eagles up 7-3. Del Greco tacks on the field goal, making it 7-6. And the defense, again, playing well. Jeff Fisher doing a good job. Darrell Lewis with the pick in the end zone. You see Marcus pull him back? Then Cunningham to Barnett. Well, there's the fumble. And it's recovered. Then Cunningham, Billy Joe Tolliver is in to Givens. And then Tolliver to Brown. The bad pitch, the Eagles recover. And then Cunningham will find James Joseph late in the game. 34 yards, 21-6 is the final. That was it. And the Oilers now are 1-6. In Dallas, Cowboys All-Pro offensive tackle Eric Williams broke a rib, cut up his face, sprained a knee, and tore a thumb ligament in a one-car accident at 3 o'clock this morning. Cowboys have returned to Dallas from a trip against Arizona. He had a one-car accident. They will know tomorrow how long he will be out. And in other sports news, My pages got stuck together. The Rockets playing in Oklahoma City. Let's go to those highlights right now. Rockets lose 122-111 at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mark Price led the Cavs with 24. Akeem led the Rockets in scoring. He had 25. Sam Cassell continued to look good. Ellie with a steal to Sam. Sam had 20 points and 5 assists. Vernon Maxwell is ejected when he takes a swing on the Cavs' Chris Mills. He's out of the game. Rockets going to lose it 122-111. And for the third straight year, Greg Maddux is the Cy Young Award winner in the National League. That has never been done. 3 straight Cy Young Awards. 21-6 the final in Philly.
It'd be nice if we could see Cincinnati again right about now.
Yeah.
Don't think it'll happen. No. Thank you, Bob.
All right, rain on radar.
There is a lot of rain on radar and a new severe thunderstorm watch to talk about, and we'll do that next. Temperatures in Houston were above normal today, but there is a front on the way that could take temperatures down to at or below normal levels. Our low this morning, 64. High this afternoon, 86. No rainfall at Intercontinental Airport yet. 72 up there, 73 here, 69 at Hobby. Relative humidity, 84%. Easterly winds at 5. The barometer rising. On Galveston Island, it is 77 degrees if you can get there. 70s in Austin and Del Rio and Chihuahua, Mexico, and Monterey and Guadalajara. It's 62 in Mexico City and 80 degrees in Tampico. The front we're talking about is in the northwestern or north central portion of Texas. Behind the front, look at these late night temperatures. The 30s in Bismarck and Casper and up in Great Falls. The 40s in Minneapolis and Chicago. Gets a little bit warmer close to the front, 61 degrees in Oklahoma City. The front will pass through Houston sometime during the day tomorrow. It will bring us slightly cooler temperatures. The real cold air will stay up here. Frost and freeze warnings in effect for parts of the Midwest. What we're concerned about tonight is the fact that there are thunderstorms forming along the front because of upper-level disturbances moving from west to east across the United States and across the frontal zone. Not too hard to tell where the heaviest thunderstorms are there on the satellite sequence. Low temperatures will stay in the 50s and 60s in south and central Texas, 30s and 40s in the northern part of the state, and in the 20s from the Midwest to the Canadian border. Let's look at radar, and we can see the thunderstorms moving down. They're moving more in a south than a southeasterly direction. That's why the folks who were under a severe thunderstorm watch no longer are. The heaviest rainfall now about at Temple and moving toward the Austin area. Some counties to the west of Houston are in the new severe thunderstorm watch until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's Colorado and Austin and Wharton counties. You folks in Columbus and Eagle Lake and El Campo and Belleville and Sealy, you are included in the severe thunderstorm watch. The forecast for tomorrow calls for the front getting closer to Houston. The rain showers will continue even after the front moves through. We'll call for a 40% chance of rain on Tuesday. The next 3 days look like this, mostly cloudy skies. Low tonight 62, high tomorrow 78, 40% chance of rain tomorrow. A little cooler on Thursday and Friday with a 20% chance of rain. That's it.
Thank you, Ed.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Alvin Van Black was out tonight on his rounds of nightlife in Houston.
Here's Alvin at night.
First stop this evening, we're over at the Westin Galleria Hotel in the ballroom, where folks are coming in for dinner. It's the Robert A. Welch Foundation Awards Night. The prestigious award is presented by the Robert A. Welch Foundation for outstanding work in the field of inorganic chemistry. It's accompanied by a certificate, a gold medal, and a $300,000 prize. Tonight's winners are Dr. Jack Halpern of the University of Chicago and Dr. F. Albert Cotton of Texas A&M University. Last week, we went out to Stratford High School to watch the rehearsals for the play City of Angels. But then all of the rain and fire came, and we couldn't show you that. But I'm going to tonight and tell you that the play is open this week, Thursday and Friday at 7:30, Saturday at 2:30, Sunday at 5 o'clock.
This is the first time they've done it with mics, lights, the whole schmear. So this is a big rehearsal for the cast, and this is also the first time with wigs and costumes for them.
Finally, this evening, we're over at the Silver Eagle Club on Reed Road. That is Mack and Company.
My band consists of 7 pieces. I have a male vocalist, and I have 6 more outstanding pieces. Trumpet, guitar, drums, piano, and bass.
Tonight's late night talk show is Donahue, and he's on right after Nightline. I'm Alvin Van Black, 13 Eyewitness News at night.
Thanks, Alvin. That's our report for right now. Stay tuned for Nightline.
For Alan Himberger, Bob Allen, Ed Brandon, Marvin Zindler, and Alvin Van Black, I'm Sheriff Fryer. Good night.
Who really broke Burt Reynolds' heart? It wasn't Lonnie. Next, Donahue.
The preceding was a rebroadcast of tonight's 10 p.m. Eyewitness News.